Everybody, so our last video showed you how to make some holes. We tried to put some holes in this house, giving it, a door and some windows. But if you look at that, you'll notice all we did was kind of carve into it a little bit. So I'm going to show you how to hollow something out in this video, hollow out a shape, and then we can put doors and windows to work. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to ungroup this, and I'm just going to pull it. Oops. I'm going to pull it over here. We can use those windows again later. So I'm just going to pull this over. So now we have this shape. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to go over here, what looks like a Post-it pad or multiple copies. Duplicate it. Remember, it's going to put it on the inside. So I'm going to pull it over here. So if I want to hollow this shape out, I need to make this shape a hole. Okay. Now this should be the exact same size. So if I grouped it, it'd essentially disappear. So in order to hollow it out, I want it to be a little bit more narrow, not as long, not as wide, nor as tall. So I'm going to push this in a little bit so it's not as long, it's not as wide, and then I'm going to shorten it a little bit. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lift it up just a little bit. So right now, I see that 0, that tells me this is sitting flush or flat on the work plane. So even if I did a 1/10 of a millimeter, I've lifted this up just a hair. Let's go, we'll go half is, there you go. So I lifted it up a bit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this inside here. Or I could use what we call the align tool. So I'm going to click off. Remember, click to open space. Click and drag. I'm going to group it. No, not group it. Sorry, I'm going to align it. So I'm going to put it on the center on that side, center on that side. So now that hole we just created is on the inside of this. 1 second. I want to make sure I'm under 5 minutes here. All right, so that's on the inside of this. Now I'm going to group it. So now I have a hole which is shaped just like the shape of the house on the inside. Now we kept those windows and doors, so I'm going to slide this over. I can still use them. So let's see. Those are all kind of cutting into it. One thing I do need to do is I'm going to lift that door just a little bit. Otherwise, it's cutting into the floor. So actually, no, I'm going to lift it this a little bit higher than, actually the same height as what I did for the hollowed shape. So now watch. I'm going to go and group this. And ta-da, we now have a house. You can see inside it. I can even see the roof is kind of hollowed. Pretty cool, right? All right, so let's do this one more time. Maybe what I'll do is drag out a different shape. All right, so I'm going to drag out a box. So if I wanted to hollow it out, I would duplicate it. So I'm going to click on it, duplicate. Now I have 2. We're going to make this one a hole. And remember, I'm going to make it a little bit smaller one way and a little bit smaller the other way. And even the height a little bit. And remember, I do want to lift it up. I'll show you what happens if I don't. So I'm going to align these. There's our align tool. I'm going to center it this way, center it that way. And then I'm going to group it. So watch what happens. There's a hole in the floor. Why is that? Because I didn't lift that hole. So I'm going to go back. I'll go back again. So remember, we want to lift this just a little bit. There we go. Now I can align it. Center on one side. Oops. Let's try that again. It's the beauty of Tinkercad. You can make lots of mistakes. So I'm now going to group it. And just for fun, I'm going to pull out I'll pull this out. I have 30 seconds, so I got to wrap this up. All right, so watch. That's a big door. It's like a garage door. That's okay. And there you go. You can see inside that. So that is how you hollow something out. Duplicate it, make it a hole a little smaller, and then align it to put it in the center of something. So hope you guys enjoyed that, and stay tuned for more.